televisiescherm, want vandaag gaan we het hebben over seksualiteit. We gaan jullie laten zien dat seksualiteit even gewoon is als deze komkommer hier en deze kip.
Since the dawn of time, one thing has occupied the minds of teenagers everywhere. Sex.
Sex.
And I knew sex sells.
Sex is ingrained into our culture and it is the very means of our existence as humans. However, the topic of sex has been taboo for many years. Why is this the case? I interviewed Nicole, a mother from Nevada. She has a range of experience when it comes to sexuality and lives an atypical family life. In this documentary, she shares her story in regards to her sexuality and her lifestyle.
Bisexuality, I guess I could also identify as pansexual. And I am attracted to basically any gender. Polyamory, I'm non-monogamous, I'm ethically non-monogamous, so we have multiple partners, not just sexually, but romantically as well.
So this is the newlywed couple here, and they're showing their love for each other by lovemaking. Lovemaking just means making each other feel loved.
Polyamory is extremely frowned upon in our culture and can often leave poly individuals confused and feeling unwanted or left out of modern society. The idea of monogamy is ingrained into us from a very young age and is carried out throughout our whole lives. This can be extremely damaging for poly individuals and leave them feeling lost and confused.
Always known I was bi and poly. I really, when I started to think about romance and sex, it's always been in the context of not caring about gender. And I've never really felt a draw towards monogamy. It never made sense to me. When I was 10 and I had my very first little elementary school relationship, my first kiss was with a girl and a boy who were both my best friends. And we together were what would have been considered a trio. Of course, all we did was hold hands and sit together at lunch, but that's, the three of us held hands and sat together at lunch and talked about getting married and, and it was not, that was not weird to me. A lot of people were like, oh, you can't do that. You have to pick one. I was like, why? They're both happy. I'm happy. We're all happy. This makes sense to me, and it always has. That's probably the one that people react to the most viscerally, which is weird to me. It's very weird to me. I think I've lost more friends over polyamory than I have around being bi or intersex.
For many people in the LGBT community all across the world, their sexuality can cause a lot of issues in family homes, and family members are often left not accepting.
An older family member who told me she didn't want to talk to me anymore, but she came around. She came back and she said, hey, I overreacted. I'm really sorry. And we talked it out. And I think she just really associated the queer community with what it was when she was young, more of a party community, sex, drugs, and rock and roll and danger and HIV and, all this scary stuff. And she just saw me, in a dungeon somewhere and didn't understand that when I was saying that, I was just like, hey, I might marry a girl and settle down with her instead of him. And that's really the only difference. My plan is still the same for the rest of my life.
Nicole is also intersex, meaning that she has a chromosome mutation, causing her to have both male and female chromosomes. This affects 1% of the population, which is the same amount of people that are ginger in the world.
I knew something was different when I went through puberty, because I went through puberty kind of wrong. My voice got deeper. I started to gain facial hair. I didn't get breast tissue like most of the women around me. We didn't figure out what was actually wrong. I was told hormone imbalance. You have a hormone imbalance. Okay, so that was what I was told up until I got in the military, and then they did some more testing and they said, oh, it's an extreme hormone imbalance and you've got some other stuff going on and we need to put you through hormone replacement therapy. I said, okay, so we did that.
Most of the time, intersex is diagnosed at birth. However, in cases like Nicole's, it is missed and not diagnosed until later in life. This can be confusing for a young person, and the acceptance is still not quite there in our society.
For sex, my external genitalia are female, so I don't look different from the outside, which kind of helps.
Here, we only see the brink of the iceberg when it comes to sex and sexuality. However, I think the thing to remember that is as long as you're being safe and happy and are not hurting anyone, then there really is no issue.
Sex.
Boys can have sex.
And girls can have sex.
Chinese people can have sex. They call it jiaogo. So can Eskimos. How else do you think they keep warm?
Even our amigos south of the border can have sex.